All right, so I've been asked this numerous times of kind of what do I think of this KX? Did I enjoy buying it? All that fun stuff. I've told people numerous times I did blow this motor up at about 10 hours. The lower crank bearing, it's like a oil light bronze bushing. It came apart and fried every single bearing in the entire motor. So that happened at 10 hours of buying a brand new machine. I went to the Kawasaki dealership local to me, and they told me that KX models are competition bikes and Kawasaki's do not warranty anything to do with those bikes. That kind of put a dampener on my buying experience, as it ended up costing me close to $1,500 to just buy the parts, do all the manual labor myself, and rebuild this motor. Now, throughout the process, the actual way Kawasaki does this is not horrible. The only complaint I have with the rebuild and how the service manual is laid out and everything like that, I think the service manual is decent. The thing I hate is these bolts. Even when you torque them using a 1/4 inch torque wrench, doing inch pounds, I broke about half of the bolts on this. So if you look carefully, you can see some of these. These are your standard Kawasaki nuts, and then these are different. Those are actually out of a bolt kit because those are the ones that I broke. It actually stretched them tensely, almost like a tensile test, like what you do in engineering school, until you actually broke them. And that kind of annoyed me. I've taken apart numerous KTMs and never had a bolt break. I am glad that it broke the bolt instead of stripping out the threads, but still a little ridiculous. So if you tear one of these apart, make sure you have new bolts to put in. Be my recommendation. These fork pegs. So I now have 43 hours on it, and I took the angle grinder to these a weekend or so ago to sharpen up the pegs because they got pretty dull and my feet were slipping around a lot. You still have a lot of play in these. I think these are Nissans. Same style as my Beta. I hate this design because you have so much slop before you actually have any engagement. Really dislike that. That's a stupid design. Way too much tolerance in there. Now you can buy different clevises and whatnot for that. But on this bike, I kind of just wanted to do it stock and just kind of ride the crap out of it. A lot of reviews online said you could get 100 hours on these and never have to do anything. My experience has been different. I went with a TM Design Works rear shark fin. Really like that piece. It's a simple bolt-on. You might be able to see it. Let's see if I can get this to go down. Sorry. Well, there you go. You can kind of see it. But it bolts on. Really nice piece. Really nice. On these X's, I do like this caliper guard. The brake pads themselves held up pretty good on the rear. They did not hold up very good on the front. At 40 hours, they're a little over 1/16 thick. I have new brake pads coming in shortly. 43 hours, stock suspension. Never done anything other than, I think I did do the seal cleaner. What is that, Seal Buddy or whatever they're called, and did clean those out a couple times. No leaking from the stock seals, like that. These bearings here are shot. Now at 10 hours on this bike, I did go through and adjust a lot of re-grease a lot of the bearings, including that one, the linkage, the swing arm, all your chassis bearings. This one has a notch in it. It's still okay, decently smooth, but it has a notch you can actually feel. So those bearings suck. I did end up having to put on well, I believe that I needed to put on a fan. If you idle this bike for more than, I don't know, 3 minutes, it'll start overflowing. If you just like idle it to warm up, it will overflow coolant out of the overflow line. Hate that. So I put on a radiator fan. I have Bulletproof Designs. Love these radiator guards. That's what I have on this one. I had them on my Beta, and I think I had them on my KTM. Really like Bulletproof Designs radiator guards. I don't love to get to the bolt right here that holds the radiator on. You have to shimmy through. So the hole is right here. The bolt is up here. So you have to shimmy up and over. So that's absolutely stupid. I think it's very similar on the top one as well. Absolutely retarded design. The other things, I did drop the fork pegs down to the lower position. I wish you could go down and back. I had those down and back fastway pegs. Really like that direction, not just down. But I do go down because it makes over a 2-hour hair scramble the amount of times you stand up. If you think about going to a lower squat position and standing up, it's a lot harder than a higher squat position. So your legs won't have as much fatigue at the end of a race. Other things, minute things. This thing is terrible. Why not have it black so it doesn't look horrible after a race? The pipe burned on my pants and my boots. That's why you have this. I ended up taking a Scotch wheel pad to this, cleaning it up. This bad boy, for some odd reason, is painted back here. So when you try to Scotch Brite it up, it looks horrible. So that's awesome, love that. Similar with clutch covers, all that. Infamously, the brake lever is super skinny right here and is not very comfortable. If you get out here, it's not bad, but up here is terrible. So you kind of gotta get that thing to where you like it. I don't love the way this kind of sets up with getting close to the cap. But I don't love that, but that's whatever. Front fender, discolored really badly. Not even from that bad of crashes, honestly. I think I hit a tree and kind of bent it that way. We got stuck on it. What else do I like? Definitely went with the fork guards. I love those on everything. I just like the way it feels. Up here, for some reason, when you put the seat on, so let's pretend our seat's on, right? For some reason, when I stand, right here rubs on the inside of my knee right here and would actually wear it to where it ripped the skin off. And I don't know why. Never had that happen to me on my Beta. Doesn't work on the CRF in the corner. I don't know if it does it on the Triumph, but I doubt it. Triumph's quite a bit narrower seat. But this one did it for some odd reason. So always had to wear knee pads, could never go out just in jeans, or it just, if you tried to do anything fun, like I have some logs set up in the backyard where I'd like to practice logs and whatnot, hitting different angles, and couldn't do it because it would rip my insides of my knees up. Hated that. The kickstand is painted, so it looks absolutely terrible. Again, I sharpened the pegs, shifter held up. I am running an AXP skid plate, and it's decent. I ended up taking, there was a part of this right here that kind of went up like that, and so much mud would get stuck in this corner, in this little cavity, because there's a crossbar that holds it from kind of going down and out. And so a lot of mud gets caught right there. Don't love that. rest of it, I love the protection. I love how it slides. I did end up drilling a bunch of holes right here in these like crevice area just to allow the mud and water to kind of funnel out. Here's my fan. I'll take that off here in a second and show you how that's mounted up. The seat cover, factory, kind of sucks. It's like a Honda seat cover. You slip and slide a lot on it. Went with an Bikegraphix ribbed. I really enjoy the ribbed. Everyone thinks that these are gonna hurt your butt sitting on them all day. I think it's so much more comfortable because you don't slide around and chafe as much. What else don't I like? To take the tank off is really annoying. You have to like shimmy your hand up and under to get to disconnect the wire to the fuel pump and the fuel line from the fuel pump. That's really a pain. One of the things I really liked about the Triumph is how much simpler it is. So let's take this off real quick. Okay. Also, this back here, why? Why can't this be attached without having the seat on? It's, I don't know. That's minor gripes. See if I can do this one handed. Pop that. And this is so stupid. So you have to take this and you pull this up like that and down to get it to release. It's like that action because of the way this is, you're supposed to go up and in. It doesn't work. That's just so stupid. Again, minor gripes. It's really not the end of the world by no sense of imagination. Those scratches happened the very first race. I landed on, I think that's from actually hitting another bike, but so this is how the fan setup is. So let's get my light. Okay, so I ended up having to take off a bracket that was on this tab here that held these two and I think another switch right in there in a nice little caddy, and it wouldn't fit without hitting the fan. So I really liked having the fan on this side. I don't know why, but it fit nice. I don't love that these wires are so exposed. You could totally catch these on something and rip them off. Don't love that. I wish there was something that held this tight. And I don't know, there's got to be a better way to do that. I don't know, maybe tie it to there, or, I don't know, maybe I'll look into that more. But this stupid thing has popped out 3 times on me, so I ended up wire tying the dang thing in. I do think that these fan kits are mandatory on these Kawasaki's because they run so hot at idle. It's a little ridiculous how hot they run. I mean, they will overheat or boil over just idling in place. So this bulletproof, it mounts here, and then through the plastic there, and then your 2 bolts into the swing or into the frame. Decent setup there. What else we got? The chain is whatever. Chain and sprockets lasted 40 something hours. You can kind of see here, they're kind of scooped out. The chain is flat. There's a lot of side-to-side play. I have a new chain, and then my sprockets are on order. I should have them next week. There's a lot of this red dust. That's from me cleaning up the frame and whatnot with my Scotch-Brite. Nothing too big. Let's see what else we got. That's really it. on this. Everything. Oh, this air filter is terrible. There's no room in there. To make it breathe, you really need to do a twin air power flow kit for that. Now it does come out really nice and easy. It's 2 clips, you push forward that way, and it slides right out. Now I ended up taking out the backfire screen because this thing already doesn't breathe worth the crap, so why restrict it more? But I do like how simple it is to get it, put it in and out, but this thing clogs up with dirt so fast because it only breathes from this side. It gets very choked up very fast, and you can notice the bike start to backfire. Don't love that, but I haven't done the power flow kit because it's like $300, and then if you're gonna do that, you really need to do a full pro circuit exhaust, and then you gain a couple horsepower. To me, I would rather sell this bike and buy a 450 and call it a day. Just have more power. What else? I did enjoy these stock grips. I did wear them out, but I do like the ODIs, the clamp-ons. I've never ran those before. Really enjoyed that, actually. These are just a different version, a little bit more texture to them, but I do enjoy those. The clutch, brake is fine. It did stall a lot at first. Kind of going through, like, I came off of a KTM 300 and a Beta 300 2-strokes, and both of those would just idle down to nothing and just kind of lug out, right? These probably all 4-strokes, but these modern 4-strokes really want a lot more RPM. So that took a while for me to get used to on this. It really did. I would stall it a lot. The other thing was I used to freak me out because I couldn't bump start this thing. And so you have to hit this starter to get that fuel pump engaged to allow it to actually bump start. So what's the difference between that or just hitting the button and starting the bike? Now I will say this thing starts stupid easy. So you hit that, prime it, and it's running. It's one of the fastest starting bikes on the line. Whole shot king for dead engine start. I will give it that. Never had an issue with it starting. It's been phenomenal. This thing is stupid loud. Everyone I'm chasing at the races always think that I have some modded out bike chasing them down. It sounds mean, angry, and everything in between. What else do I got for this? Oh, one thing I don't love. I don't love the way this thing mounts up, this AXP. It did end up stripping the bolts on the bottom, kind of right here, that go into the frame. I'm gonna have to helicoil those. One of them stripped, so I will drop in a helicoil kit for it. Other than that, oh, OEM clutch. So I was up in Michigan like first 5 hours or so, and I got stuck in a mud hole, and I was clutch dropping it to get out. And when I got home and changed the oil, there was a ton of clutch fibers. Now I don't know if those clutch fibers got into the oil pathways of the motor and clogged it, and that's why it overheated and blew up, or if it was just a poor material from the factory in that bushing. I don't know. But I went to a Tusk competition clutch. That's what's in here in the plates, and it's been great ever since. So I have no complaints otherwise. I haven't broken anything on this bike other than the motor and a rear fender, which I did screwing around in the backyard doing wheelies. So haven't broke a single lever, haven't broke anything other than what I had with those bolts and the motor itself. But I do think the front brake wore a little faster than what it should have. It's a little strange, especially since it's got this like floating caliper. I'm not sure why it did that. That's a little strange. I did cut this stupid tab off right here that kind of goes up and over. I just thought it looked stupid, and it kind of got in the way of my bark busters. I did try messing around with the different positions of the bars, so kind of bringing it forward, and different things like that you have from the factory to change. And I ended up just going back to the way it was stock. That stock placement just felt really good. So I wouldn't mess with that if I was you guys. If you're buying one of these, I definitely would get a fan kit if you're gonna use it off-road. These, absolutely, some sort of brace. I really like the Enduro engineering ones that are on the Triumph, so maybe look at those, or Bulletproof. Both are really good. I had one of these laying around from my KTM. I just like those to be able to see it. And then I run an hour meter, of course. What else do we got? I think that's it, really. Throw tires on and rip it. So that's kind of where we're at. Still haven't changed the brake fluid out. Probably will at least flush it before we start up this season, but I'll probably wait until it's a little bit warmer. I need to get some fresh brake fluid, I guess. I don't think I have any. Yeah, other than that, not much. I did swap out the radiator coolant with engine ice. I just believe it's superior coolant to OEM. Always had great luck with them, and they do support me, so thank you, Engine Ice, for supporting me for sure. I really appreciate your product, and buy it whether you support me or not, but I do appreciate any help. So yeah, I guess that's my overall review of, or 1 year, 42.9 hour review of the KX250X 2025. Yeah. So, oh, I'll take the skid plate off real quick and show you guys that, I guess. I'll do that real quick. Guy, stop. Alright, so what can you see here? A little bit, not a ton, but... Dog, would you please get back? So those are the bad boys. That long guy. One of them stripped out right here. And then, where's the other piece? Where'd I put it? Right here? Nope, it's not it. Where did I put it? That's cool. So it runs a 5mm Allen in the back, and then you're running 210s up front. So right here's that little bar. It's got 2 of those clip retainers in there, and then right here you just go into the frame, and this one right here I'm gonna have to drill out and drop a helicoil in. Right there's your oil drain bolt, and then right here are the 2 oil screens that you take out and clean every time. At least I would. I've been doing that ever since I blew it up. So yeah, here's the AXP skid plate. Take this over to the bench so you can actually see it. But, so you got these, it's all 3D printed. I think this is 3D printed, feels like it. And then you can kind of see where I cut off portions of it to smooth it out. I drilled holes to allow the dirt and water to drain. Just kind of out, oil, whatever. And then, yeah, I also took the kind of smoothed out any burrs and stuff that got made in there. I think I drilled that out maybe just to try and make it drain better and not catch things as much. So I kind of went around that and whatnot. But decent skid plate. I think it's made out of some sort of UHMW cutting board material and then bent and shaped. Decent skid plate. I don't dislike it. And then they did like some plastic welding over here too, which is kind of cool. And I did end up with this service manual from Kawasaki. It is pretty decent. Definitely don't hate it. It's a little weird, definitely different than a KTM or a Honda manual, but it's not horrible. It's got everything you need. The owner's manual does not. So yeah, that's kind of my review of the KX 2025. I think I am going to move these back by putting more chain links on to give it more of a longer wheelbase. And when I get this new chain on, I'm definitely going to try and move it back farther in there. And I am putting a one tooth larger sprocket on. That's what I'm going to do. I do know I've heard a lot of people hate these and say that these bend and then just rub on that chain. And everyone recommends switching this to an Acerbis or something plastic. So I probably will do that before I try and send this thing to a hard enduro. But yeah. Oh, this right here always annoys me so much. This is so stupid. So this is like a chain stay plastic deal for the bottom of the chain. Okay, this is your bolt that goes through this linkage connector. When you take it off, you cannot pull this out because it's made for the motocross version that doesn't have this welded on apparatus. The engineers who designed this didn't think about maintenance at all. The intern did this stupidity, and so you have to actually take off the foot peg kickstand assembly if you want to try and grease that. That is so stupid. Such an amateur move. Yeah, just stupid. That's one of my big gripes on that. Other than that, bike's okay. I'd rather have a Honda, I'd rather have a KTM. But I will say, it hasn't failed me from breaking a swing arm. I haven't broke the subframe, anything like that. On the Beta, if you loop it, you break a subframe. This one still has the aluminum, so it doesn't break. The muffler hasn't dented in. I'm actually impressed with that because this thing's been laid down a ton. Not a ton, but it's been laid down, obviously from the plastics. The green plastics do not hold up well to normal riding conditions, I will say that. I know the black of the Triumph won't, but it's got white in the back, so I don't know. But we will have new plastics, and my buddy Nick's gonna do up a pretty sick graphics setup for it. So I'm excited for that. Yeah. Let me know if you have any questions, concerns. I'll try to answer them. I've just been asked kind of what I think of the KX numerous times, so I figured I'd just throw up a video, answer some questions. So thank you all for watching, and Sky, say goodbye. Say bye. Bye. Bye.